Normally on a topical topic, we do, fun stuff, surveys, things like that, ask you questions. We do the Kicks Court. But today I thought we'd get a little serious. And as many of you know, the opioid crisis has reached epidemic levels and affected so many people around the country and right here in Greater Danbury as well. Today, an old friend of mine and an activist fighting this crisis is here. He's Tony Morrissey from New Milford. And welcome to the show, Tony.
Good morning, Mr. Trotta. Mr. Morning, good to see you again.
That's great. Now, we go back, God, it's got to be 20 years.
It's been a long time.
Long time since those baseball days.
Yeah,
in
great
Danbury,
days.
Huh? Yeah.
The glory days.
The glory days, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But things have been going, I guess, well for you. You're hanging out in New Milford now and doing your thing. But I'm so glad, I saw I was scrolling through Facebook last month, and I saw some videos, and I saw the pictures of you and your family at the Keith Urban concert, the opioid crisis concert.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I see him signing a guitar and handing it to one of your daughters, to Maddie.
Yeah.
And I said, but this Tony, and you're holding her up. Look, everybody, look, show him. Look, we got it.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable. The guitar aside, I mean, that moment for Maddie and I, when after Mr. Urban signed the guitar, when we turned around and she hoisted that guitar up, I mean, that moment is worth more than any guitar or any monetary thing at all. I mean, that was just special. We had our whole family there, so it was a win for the whole family. Maddie kind of, she hit the grand slam in the bottom of the ninth for us, so to speak.
Really did, yeah.
But it was the whole family that kind of brought us there that night. Because of some pretty tragic events that happened leading up to that night, and it was really just unbelievable.
Now you talk about a tragic event. You lost your son.
We did.
Cody. In August, right? Just back in August.
Yeah, Brian Cody. He was 20 years old. He had a daughter that was 2. His fiancée, Michaela, was due with their second child in just a few weeks. She's, it's been quite a journey for us. I have my wife here, my daughter Madison, it's been a tough time for us, especially coming now into the holiday season. Yeah,
but you didn't do what a lot of people do. A lot of people would revert back into a shell. And really just kind of, I don't want to say bask in their sorrow, but you went out and you stood up and you did something, you and your family, and because New Milford's been hit very hard by the opioid epidemic, as well as most towns in the area. But a lot of people don't talk about it. It's kind of something they just they hush. It's they kind of oppress talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's out there, and I have some figures here that I had gotten, and I just want to share these with everybody. In Connecticut, in 2017, there were 955 overdose deaths involving opioids. That's a rate of 27.7 deaths per 100,000 persons, which is twofold higher than the national rate.
Yeah.
Twofold higher.
Yeah, and the as sad as that is, what's even more sad is that this year we're probably going to break some pretty terrible numbers. We're on track to actually have even more deaths this year attributed to opioid use and things like that. In our family alone, we've had our cousin Mindy, my cousin Joey, my cousin David, kids that we used to coach baseball, young man named Henry, tragically passed to this since this happened to our son and we started our movement, we've heard from hundreds and hundreds of folks, friends from upstate New York. A good friend lost a husband, some other friends lost their brother, and it just goes on and on and on. Folks have been there's been an outpouring of love and support for our mission. We have a Facebook page called #Codys Law. Folks are just really coming together, sharing their stories, talking about ideas. On that small page, there's a good number of folks, but it's sort of a small sampling. There are 58 people who have acknowledged that they've lost a loved one. And that's just tragic. That's just in a small area.
Yeah, that's a small circle, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you broaden that out in a larger spectrum, there's like I said, look at the numbers I just gave you.
Yeah.
So you put this Brian Codys Law together. Now you've got it down to Hartford.
Yeah.
And I guess it's going to get passed, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to give a shout out to some really important folks who helped us in this mission. We shortly after our son passed, we met with Mayor Bass, Mr. Buckby, our state legislator, and some other Mr. Cerruto at the New Milford Police Department. Shortly thereafter, we kind of explained to them that we had a collection of ideas. Brian Codys Law is that. It's a collection of ideas. It's not just one thought or one law. It deals with, things, on the legal side, on the criminal side. One of the big parts is to shut these trap houses down. Our son was found in a place where there were numerous overdoses in a very short period of time. And I can't for the life of me understand why that's allowed to continue. We also feel like, the dealers need to be held a little bit more accountable. We can't understand why, they're not liable for at minimum manslaughter when they get caught. We have to help the addicts, but we have to do all we can for the other things that encircle this problem. For example, the treatment programs. The day that our son passed away, we came home after seeing his body. We came home to a letter from the insurance company, 2-page letter, that read, the first page read that we were declined for our request for additional services for him. And the second page was a bill for $30,000. So this was the day that we lost our son.
Yeah.
The insurance companies, we need a fresh approach. The insurance companies, the treatment programs themselves need to be held to a bit of a higher standard. I know that this is tough work. We've met a lot of people that run these programs. They're good people. Their heart's in the right place, but we can do more. So Brian Codys Law is basically, again, a collection of ideas on fresh approaches to conquering this problem, this epidemic, because by definition this is what this is. I'm just thankful for the support of our local government and those folks in the wider state of Connecticut that are coming on board. Mr. Arconti from Danbury, who we actually used to coach in Little League, is now in a position to help support our battle. I met with him when we went to the forum in Danbury. He's behind us. Mr. Gluck, Miss Leinhardt. There's so many folks that are behind this, and I thank Mr. Buckby for the work he's doing, kind of getting this buttoned up and reviewed, and it's currently in legal peer review. We expect the final draft to be handed back to us shortly, and then we'll be organizing. And all this information could be found on hashtag Brian Codys Law Facebook page.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how can people listening now help out with this cause? What can they do? Or even if just one person hears us this morning and is able to get some help through this, what can they do? Well,
there's lots of help out there. There's lots of folks that are really committed to this. We met and started actually participating with the New Milford chapter of the CARES group. Donna DeLuca, Mr. Kevin Brown, their organization helps families that have a family member struggling, and they've been a tremendous asset. We actually, through learning from them on what can be done and how to go about this, we've actually connected some of our other friends that have been reaching out to us with that group, and one lady in particular really credits that group and their assistance on potentially saving her son's life. So I think we've already got some victories, which is heartwarming, but we got to keep going. We're not done yet.
Long way to go with this epidemic.
Yes, absolutely. So I thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk about this, to the wider audience, because everybody we talk to knows somebody. They have a brother, they have a cousin, they have a friend, they have a friend of a friend, they have a boss. It's pervasive, and we need to come together. Together, there's no doubt. Together, we can bring change. We're not naive enough to think that we're going to end addiction. We know that we can't, but our goal is to put things in place when someone struggling is ready for services, they immediately have them, right? All the impediments are removed. There's no blockers, stopping them from going on their recovery journey. That's the part that we can help with, right? Right now, there's 106 beds for folks that are looking for help in the whole state of Connecticut. This is an epidemic. We need to. That's one area we can fix, right?
Well, I'm so glad we were able to get you in here, and I'm so happy that you were able to stop by. And I'm glad I saw the video from the Keith Urban concert.
Yeah.
And this way we got reconnected again after so many years. And
yeah.
I'm so glad you could come in and help. I think it's a great thing you're doing with this Codys Law. And hopefully that'll get passed. And, just baby steps. That's what you got to take, baby steps. And hopefully, one person can make a difference, as you've proved, you and your whole family.
Thank you, Mr. Trout.
And I thank you so much for your help and your work on this very, very difficult situation here.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming by, Tony, and thanks for bringing your lovely wife and Maddie here. We're going to take some pictures with the Keith Urban guitar, which you brought.
We got it here. I'd tell you that Maddie will play it for you, but she hasn't learned how to play yet. So
right.
we're going to work on that.
Did she get the Keith Urban how to play guitar?
I want to thank Chris Solner, one of our concert family, who actually sent Maddie the video, Keith Urban video, on learning how to play guitar. I also want to thank my best friend Mike Gruby for all the support that he's given us over the course of this process.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming by. Tony Morrissey from New Milford on this horrible epidemic, this opioid epidemic, and I'm so glad you could be on the show with us.
Thank you, sir.